blue economy, sustainable marine economy, is very much flavour of the month at the moment. And it's good to see that these issues are really starting to be addressed and talked about in Sri Lanka. It's really nice to see it coming to the foreground. I think one thing that's interesting is that over the years in Sri Lanka, there's been a lot of work done on demonstrating the value of marine resources. Not just the commercial value, but the value of coral reefs, of mangrove ecosystems, of some of the protected areas, Bar Reef, Pigeon Island and other places, and saying, actually, what are these worth for development? What are they worth for the economy? And it's really good to see things happening like the emergence of the Marine Spatial Plan, which is attempting to secure these really valuable natural assets. So I think you know what we have to bear in mind is a blue economy, conserving the marine environment in Sri Lanka, is very much a priority for species and habitats and science and conservation, but it's also key to sustainable development. People talk about fisheries a lot, people talk about other resource uses, but it's much, much more than that. Remember the tsunami, remember the periodic cyclones, all of those marine ecosystem services that actually protect and safeguard production and consumption. And we see a growing evidence that there's a really strong business case for things like the Marine Spatial Plan, things like a blue economy. But without finance, nothing's going to happen. And that's why this project is so important, because however convinced the government is that it's in the public interest to progress towards the blue economy, to conserve the marine environment, it means very little unless the people who actually use and manage that environment perceive it to be in their interests and there to be tangible gains from doing so. So what we're seeing here is the need to actually deal with finance and funding and incentives and economic motivations. Over the last 5 to 10 years, we've been seeing lots of interesting things going on with the private sector, the Ceylon Chamber of Commerce, the Ministry of Finance and others on green finance, green investment, sustainable finance, ESG, environment, social and governance. And indeed, many of the companies in Sri Lanka and businesses that are using the marine environment are actually working on this. Conservation finance is a very specific subset of that. It's actually looking to generate finance and financial incentives specifically for marine conservation. And of course, it's not just funding, it's aligning the incentives, it's making it in people's best economic interests, it's building the systems and the procedures and empowering conservation managers to actually take control over their own finances.